I guess, first of all, can we just get an update on Jimmy Butler's status with the team and being away from practice today?
Yeah, he's has an excused absence, just like TD mentioned.
And he remains in the bubble setting and good to go for tomorrow. Is he available for tomorrow?
I do not have an update on that.
Okay. And then just to ask about something strategical yesterday, Bam and Duncan and Jimmy all mentioned how with Jay starting, it made the switchability on the pick and roll a lot easier, and defensively. Is that one of the advantages of playing that lineup, that it provides you that type of quote-unquote switchability on the pick and roll?
That depends on who runs the pick and roll. There were some instances where they were able to do that, but just overall, we had wanted to have a better commitment on the defensive side of the floor, and we did in the second half. In the first half, there were moments, but it still has to get better.
Thank you.
Tim Reynolds, go ahead.
Thanks, Bob. Good morning.
Good morning.
I don't know a really fancy way to ask this. How good has Kyle Lowry gotten?
Yeah, he's a basketball savant. He's a champion. He's a big-time winner in this league. He knows how to win games, and you saw that last night. 14 rebounds, for a guard his size. Just shows you how competitive he is and how important he knows finishing your defenses. But he's got the ultimate respect, from me and our franchise, to keep on competing every single year and then finally get over the mountaintop. Last year, I think he's a big winner, in this league. He competes so hard. He's always, even in these scrimmages before this and last night's game, he's diving around, taking charges, throwing his body into the fray, all of it to try to help his team win.
Anthony Chang.
Hey, Spo, you guys play 3 games in 4 nights, a handful of times every season, but considering these are the first 3 games in, 4 months, will you handle these next 2 games differently than maybe, those other stretches you do normally during a year?
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how everybody feels, and I can't really talk about the 3rd game until we get through tomorrow's game. But we were able to utilize our depth yesterday. Today was very light, so hopefully that helps.
Brendan Tobin.
Hey, Coach. With the week like this where you're taking on a lot of teams you could face in the playoffs, is there any part of you that wants to hold stuff back, or is it all still just, go as competitive as possible and fine tune for the playoffs?
Yeah, I get that idea of it, but you are who you are, and it's more important ultimately that you can do that consistently, whatever your identity is, and have a real comfort level to be able to do that, particularly when there's adversity. And I think you just have to build that through competition. And if you're trying to hide things or, not or disguise what your identity is, I think that kind of defeats the purpose of what you're trying to get accomplished.
Jason Jackson.
Spo, a couple questions for you. First thing, in looking at the Raptors overall, particularly that fourth quarter last night against the Lakers, there's some things that stood out there that you have to guard against with them going into tomorrow's matchup?
We have a lot of corporate knowledge on how they want to play. Guys that have played in big playoff games. They know how to win games. They have a great defense. And their team speed is unique. You have to be ready for that type of speed. They have it at virtually every single position.
And then the other question is, how are you enjoying the coach's casual look? It suits you.
I love it.
Yeah.
I do. It's a lot less to think about. You just have to grab your black shirt, black pants, and you're ready to go. Not that I was that creative with my suits, but it takes a little bit more thought when you have to wear suits.
Do you hope it's something that continues, Coach?
I do. Yeah, I do. We'll see what happens. I have no idea where this discussion will go. Um, but I think all of I can speak for our coaching staff. We've enjoyed it.
Stephanie Reddy?
Thank you. Good morning.
Hi.
Good afternoon, I guess maybe.
Yeah.
So I hear you say this all the time, and you have this Heat culture that is very renowned, right? You talk about your team identity, the language that you speak is competition. So can you just plainly define what that is? What is your exact identity that you're looking for when you see these games?
Everybody knows who we are. And it's hardest working, best conditioned. That's what we hang our hat on. And we've done that, for 25 years. At least we know who we are. That doesn't guarantee anything, but we know what we're supposed to look like when we're at our best.
And just a quick follow-up. So you think you're there now, heading in the right direction? I know you weren't happy in the beginning of this bubble situation, but now are you feeling like you're headed there?
Actually, we were really encouraged by the training camp practices that we've had. We've had some really good moments behind the scenes when no one else was able to watch, and we've just been working on that. Guys love to compete, and so they love this opportunity to be able to continue the season and have an opportunity to compete for a title. Yes.
Ethan Skolnick?
Hey, Erik, I know you guys have liked Jay for a long time, even before you were able to acquire him. Has there been anything about his game, though, that after, guy's been in the league, played for so many teams and has experience, has there been anything about his game that you have identified that you can develop even further? And has there been anything he's shown you since he's gotten here that maybe was a little different than you expected?
He's a very competitive, physical player that we felt could be effective on both sides of the ball for us. And we've always respected him, competing against him, particularly when he was in the East. There's always things that we think that we can help players with. And that's part of our player development program. It's not exclusive just to young guys, but even guys that are mid or in their prime of their career. We try to help them. And he's been great about all of that. He has very good work ethic, really been working on his conditioning. All of those things that are important to us.
Erik, just one quick follow. He seems to be a guy who's comfortable taking the contested three from time to time. Is that something, I know you give the green light to a lot of your players, is that something you want him to continue to do? Because he's hit it at a pretty high rate since he's come to your team. And
the most important thing is he spaces the floor and he hits important ones. Historically over the course of his career, he seems to rise to the occasion. I want him spacing the floor and shooting with great confidence. If anything, I want him to shoot from deeper range to help widen the court for us. He has range to 25 feet. I would love for him to space out there and shoot a couple of those a game. A couple more.
Hey, Coach. Congratulations on yesterday. Apparently, Bam only needed one warm-up game to get himself ready. I wanted your thoughts on how well he performed on both ends yesterday, and also what you like most and least about the opener against Denver.
Well, Bam just brings us that unique, dynamic aspect to our team. Not that we're ordinary without him. He's so versatile, so dynamic. We're clearly a much different team. And it starts with that competitive nature. I mentioned it after the game. You can't really teach that at that level. He is out there to compete to win. And you put that next to Jimmy and Jay and the rest of our guys. That just brings out an intense competition. but his versatility to be able to run offense through him and his unselfishness helps our offense. And defensively, he takes on all the challenges 1 through 5. So I didn't know how long it would take for him, to get back into rhythm. But he's not somebody that's trying to force things. He's just playing his game and playing within the game, playing to win. I think that helps facilitate that quicker. And his fitness level was high, even though he wasn't able to compete 5-on-5. In terms of what I liked and disliked yesterday, I thought the second half that looked like Miami Heat basketball. Denver played well in the first half, so I don't want to take anything away from them. But that's probably my biggest takeaway.
AJ speaks.
So Lowry and Siakam get a lot of attention. What does OG bring to the Toronto Raptors?
Well, he would have helped them last year too in that playoff run, and he's really improved. We respect their player development program because guys tend to get better. The longer they're with the Raptors. We think in a similar fashion to what we do, but he's come a long way. He's a physical, rugged, two-way player. He can defend multiple positions, but he's really improved as an offensive player.
Ferdinand Rivera, last question.
Hi, Coach. How do you see the team odds of reaching the finals, and what do you think is the great strength of this team?
We're just preparing for tomorrow. We know what we're here for. That's how our organization is wired. But you have to take it one moment at a time. And we're trying to build our game up to where we can compete for that highest prize. What was your second question?
What do you think is the great strength of this team?
There's a lot. I just love the competitive nature. We have a lot of guys that really like to compete. And embrace all the aspects of which team is better and which team can outperform and outcompete the other team.